Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. For the prostitute reduces you to a loaf of bread, and the adulteress preys upon your very life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? Look at verse 32. But a man who commits adultery lacks judgment. Whoever does so destroys himself. Blows and disgrace are his lot, and his shame will never be wiped away. By the way, is pornography wrong? Or is it okay? Well, if it has to do with lust, we've already established here in verse 25 that the lust of your heart and her beauty may be a person standing in front of you, but more common today is the person who's not standing in front of you but is on a screen on a computer. You know, when I was growing up, boys typically had a Playboy under the mattress, and that was the avenue for pornographic material to come to our eyes. These days, we're one click away from just this adulteress. And it's extremely deceptive, as you know. You can be doing a search on whatever, and they have it wired so that this image comes up. I think there are things that we can do to filter and guard against that. He says, guard your heart, and then he says, don't be captivated by her. Go to chapter 7, verse 22. All at once he followed her like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose till an arrow pierces his liver, like a bird darting into a snare, little knowing it will cost him his life. Now then, my sons, listen to me, pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Many are the victims she has brought down, her slain are a mighty throng. Mighty men, mighty women have fallen. Verse 27, her house is highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. One more, chapter 9, verse 17. Stolen water is sweet. Food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of the grave. We live in a nation that has become captive to bad sex. We have become captive to the adulteress's ways and deceptions. 25% of all internet traffic is pornographic. The pornography industry here in the United States makes more money than all the network televisions combined. There are 260 new pornographic websites every day. This is not because people in Africa are on their computer. It's because people in America. This used to be the land of the free and the brave. It is now the land of the captive and the caught. And it is everywhere. So, Pastor, what do I do? What if I've messed up? What should I do? Well, for one, there's a website here that you can check out, www.xxchurch.com. I would also recommend celebraterecovery.com. There are many great articles and steps that you can take if you are locked into this, if you become a captive to it. In Celebrate Recovery Monday nights, here at First Baptist Church, we have a men's group and a women's group called Mixed Issues. And these are groups that aren't primarily for alcohol or drugs. They're for being captured, being captive, having struggles with different areas. It could be anger, but one of them is sexual addiction or being trapped in this. And, you know, one of the Proverbs is, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. It's that we need one another's help. We need this accountability. And in a very safe and small group, we can share with one another and help each other and get our freedom back. Get back on the path that leads to life instead of the frustration and the destruction and the death that seems to create the cycle that we're in. This is not a non-Christian problem. It's so sad to see strong, godly men and women. And by the way, women have issues as well, typically looking for love, looking for a relationship, looking for something that they see other people apparently have, and they go on the internet and they start talking with people they don't know anything about, and they get themselves in trouble. They start to, their heart starts to drift away from the path God would have them be on. So there's help available. Search it out and get it. Now, I just wanted to go over some of the stinking thinking that even as Christians we buy into, that the world is feeding us. The one is, when it comes to sex, practice makes perfect. That absolutely is false. In fact, if you're a coach, you know this is true. That if someone develops a poor golf swing when they're a child, and it never gets coached out of them, they can practice a lot, and they always hit the shot crooked because their swing is off. And if you practice a bad swing and continue to do so, it just becomes more ingrained, and you can't get better. Practicing the right thing in the right way leads to the right outcome. And so practicing sex according to God's way is the way to find true fulfillment in it, this great gift that God has given. And practicing the wrong, most people don't have too much problem with sex from the neck down. It's what's between our ears and what's in our heart that gives us the problems. So God says it's not about practice makes perfect. In fact, if it was practice makes perfect, then we should be the most deliriously happy and fulfilled people on the planet. Are we? Study after study shows that sexual fulfillment is way down. How can that be? It's everywhere. Practice doesn't make perfect. Godliness, righteousness, innocence is what God blesses. Number 2, the side effects are minimal. It's not hurting anybody. I typically don't watch a lot of golf. I'd rather golf myself, which I don't do enough of, but this year I watched the Masters. I watched it with more interest than usual because Tiger Woods had been off for 5 months. And he hadn't golfed very much at all. And he came back to the most pressure-packed, most prestigious tournament in the world, the Masters, and he played golf, and he wanted to win. He didn't win. He took 3rd, 4th, 5th, I don't remember what, but one of those places. And I, myself, was amazed that a person could take that much time off and still finish that high. Whatever he did didn't seem to affect his swing much. A little, not much. But I'll never forget this scene as long as I live. He finishes the 72nd hole. He finishes his tournament. He walks off of the 18th green for the last time for that year. And there's no wife there. And there are not 2 of his little children there. In fact, there's no family there and no friends, just reporters. A few minutes later, the one who won the Masters, Phil Mickelson, gave unintentionally this huge contrast. His wife has breast cancer and was going through treatment, couldn't even go to the tournament. She was in the town, sitting in a hotel or in a house they had rented. She couldn't make it until the final day. As he walked off, she drug herself out. There was his family, there was his wife, there were his 2 little kids, embracing, crying, laughing, friends all around. I'm thinking, what a difference. Do you think Tiger Woods started and woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to ruin my life. I'm going to start getting into pornography, and because I got lots of money, I can do this? No.